Hello and welcome in this new tutorial where I will show you how I created this environment on Unreal Engine. It will be a short, not an too in-depth tutorial because so there are many steps and I cannot take the time to go deep inside every step inside this video, but I will do more videos and you will understand how it works. For today, I will just show you how I created this environment and all the steps, and so you will have a clear idea of the workflow. And so let's start. Usually, I always start with simple shape on Blender like this. So this is the files where I created the first blocking, I create simple shapes like this. I try to create the kit with multiple modules, the roof, the beams, and I will then import everything inside Unreal Engine. And I can even show you what it looks like at first. Okay, and with these simple shapes, you can get like a pretty rough idea of what you want in the environment. So you can find my simple shape like this one, the house. It is exactly this actually that I built inside Unreal Engine. And for the blocking, I'm not doing so much gray blocking, I'm already starting with my first textures to get a better idea of what it will look like. And here's another picture, for example, where I was playing with the lighting, to taking my materials, and I try to do all this at the same time. So I'll try to build my first modules like this, my first shape, and as you can see, there is already a material applied. It's a bit loading, so as you can see, there is already material applied, like there are wood planks, and I just put them in Blender as a preview. Like you can see, like my shader preset, like it's nothing crazy. I just plug the texture inside Blender, and this way I can usually UV them. So for the materials, I create them entirely in Substance Designer or Substance Painter. Only if there are some exceptions, I might take pictures, like I will show you why. But all you see here has been created in Substance Designer. I will show you what it looks like in Substance Designer. It's such a great tool to create textures because you can do a lot of iteration and a lot of tries and retry about what you want. For example, I created these planks. As you can see, I wanted something that was not so clean and with some randomness, and like this one was going, for example, a bit on the side. And to create this, I just started with a simple tile sampler, and I used the fluid field to gradient because I wanted this random gradient, like the planks are a bit old and going inside, some are going inside, some are going a bit outside. That's what I wanted, to have this kind of shapes. And then I had some details on the to put some variation, to not have just straight lines on the side. I tried to hide some kind of wood effect just with a simple directional noise, and mixing this with some other mask. And all these masks, they can give me like this grayscale image. And this, then I will play with I will add some more mask, and then I play with the albedo texture, the diffuse texture, add some normal and the roughness. Okay. And then once that's done, I export everything as 3 textures. I have the diffuse, the ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic, all packed in the same one. That's why I use the RGBA merge. This one I can just plug the metallic, the roughness, you can see here the roughness, and the ambient occlusion directly in the packed texture. So I have only 3 textures that you will find them here. The diffuse, the AORM, and the AORM, and the normal. And then I start to model the blocking. So the blocking is really like simple shapes. Now we are back in Blender, and what I did was, once I was happy with the textures and with the blocking, I started to actually build the house. So to build a house, it's not really tricky because they are made of simple shapes. As you can see them, like it's pretty simple shapes, you know, like it's round, the top is just a roof, a circular roof. And so I choose to keep the details separated like this. Like all you can see here, I will open it because it's a blueprint. I will explain a bit later. All you can see here is separated. So the house is actually like this, and the doors, the window, the beam, they're all separated. So it's easier for me to customize them and to make different building. To texture the house, it's pretty easy actually. If you have, for example, a mesh like this, a round mesh, I just do a cube projection to have like the good a straight UV, and then I grid by shape. So this is an add-on that allows me to align the UV, and so they will not overlap. There is only one seam that will be at the merging of this face and this face. Once that's done, I apply the same textile density to all of my assets. So the textile density is the size of the UV on the texture. And for example, you will notice it. I cannot do this by hand if I put the wood like this. Like it will be so random. For example, one house will be like this with a lot of planks like this, and the other one will have like a bit less. It's not making much sense, so I'm using the textile density. So to apply the textile density, be sure that your rotation and scale are applied with Control A. So this way you will not get scammed scammed by the size of the object, like, because if you scale it, it will not be the good size. Anyway, you apply the rotation and scale, and you can then choose your textile density. I'm always using the 5.12 at 248 pixels, and this way I'm sure that I have the good size of my UV on my texture set. Okay, and once that's done, I will add some details. I use also like tiling textures for the all the poles, the beams, so they are all sharing like the two or three UV sets. Same for the platforms. Everything is built like really in a straightforward way, you know, like, and I can just build this in Unreal Engine, like you can see here, the window, the beam. Okay, so about the roof, it was a bit different. I tried to wait just a minute. Okay, so to build the roof, it was a bit different. I created a simple material in the Substance Designer. I wanted like kind of a mossy roof like this. So I created this really simple material with a diffuse, and I was checking like how can I build this in Blender, because I didn't want to have just a simple plane like this and you just apply the texture on it. No, I wanted something a bit more, with a bit more shapes, to have better shadows and looks like it's really natural. To do this, I subdivide my mesh like this, and I had a displacement modifier that you can find here. And then it's your choice whether you want to solidify or not, but it might cause some issues in the normals and in the shape. So for now, let's keep things simple and just displace it. And if I put the material on top, you will see like it has a way better shape now, like really natural, and that's what I wanted, a bit of chaos, you know, in the mesh. And if I don't do this, it just looks like really flat like this. So starting from there, I then added some solidify modifier, but as you can see, it's not exactly what we want, and so I needed to do a lot of manual tweaking. And even here, like the UVs are not working, so I UV them again once I done this. And so it gave me like some roof. Let me show you. Then I have the roof like this. Sorry. the roof like this, and the base of the house, some poles, and I created all the small platforms also, and the modules to decorate this house the same way. It's all done the same way. So, and then when you are in Unreal Engine, you just can get all of this mesh. And with this kit, you can easily build any house you want and customize them. So created some more smaller mesh, like the doors. These ones are made like with unique textures in Substance Painter. So let's check this. And the door were made entirely in Blender and Substance Painter. For this one, I wanted some unique details like this, the kind of nails, the handle, the metal, and I wanted some curvature effect. So all this was built directly in Substance Painter. And I will show you the files. For the modeling, it's again really simple modeling, you know, like I just created the door in Blender, and I choose to put them with the crates to have like it was a bit a waste of UV if I only had the door inside this, and I wanted to add some crates too, so I merged them together in one UV set. To texture the doors, I started like I have multiple smart material that I did, or almost for this one I was using the some default smart materials. So you can use, like, for example, I have some woods that I already made, but there are some wood that are made directly by Substance that you can use, like this one, for example, and you can start from this, you know, and customize the wood. And so this is what I did for this one. I will show you directly how it's built. So I start with the base wood material, and I could like edit the color like this here, and then with the wood fibers to add some small details, the wood vines, and this one were already built inside the smart material. And then on top of that, I had some mask. I added some mask to have like some damage on the curvature, but for the curvature you don't want to have like a full curvature like this. That's why I multiply this with a grunge mask, so it's not everywhere, only in some random points on the edge, to have a more natural feeling. And then I added some mask also to do some variation to the albedo and more veins and dirt. And then I added the metal, like I wanted like just a cool metal like this, and nothing really crazy, you know. And for example, you can just use what you want. If there is a part missing in the texture you want, you can select with the black mask what you want. If you want a full metal door like this, it doesn't make sense, but you can. That is the way I apply texture to the mesh. And then I always love to add some ambient occlusion inside the material, because you will see that it will add like a soft shadows, and I love to add this simply like by adding a new layer, and I put the black layer like this. I add a black mask, and in the generator you can find the ambient occlusion mask. You need to inverse it, and you can play like this with some soft shadows mask, because by default also the Unreal Engine Unreal Engine 5 removed the ambient occlusion. So this is a nice way to have some ambient occlusion. But as you can see, I'm thinking about this. I already have ambient occlusion activated just by a console command that I will share. So I'm back here, and once you are satisfied with the textures, you can just export these textures the same way as in Substance Designer. So it's Ctrl-Shift-E. And I created my own templates called AORM. And it's basically just some Unreal Engine 4 packed duplicated template. And I renamed the texture set with my what I'm used to it, like diffuse, normal, emissive. And I just plug everything inside this output template to only have 3 textures: the diffuse, the normal, and the packed AORM. I also have, like, if I need some opacity and emissive, but that's not the case here. Okay. And once you have everything packed, once you have anything packed, you can just export everything in Unreal Engine. I always try to put the pivot point on the side of the modules or the mesh. If it's the door, you need to open it in a natural way. So look, the door is, for example, like this. The pivot point is on the side. So if someone needs to open the door, it will work like this inside the engine. And then you import everything in Unreal Engine. You will import directly your mesh inside Unreal Engine. And I need to show you the materials, how it works. I will do an example for you with the door. So, for example, you have this door closed and you want to export it in Unreal Engine and apply the texture on it. So I will export this like this here. And I will go in my projects, example door. Once it's exported like this, I just export as an FBX, and here I just like take the selected object, and I want just the mesh, and that's all, and export the door. As simple as that. In Unreal Engine, I will come and drag and drop this mesh directly inside the browser. Sorry. Oh. It will ask you some import options. It changed with the last version, but it's basically the same, only the presentation changed. So what I'm doing, I like to create my own light maps. So I always go in Advanced here and remove Generate Light Map UV. And I don't want to create any material. So I deactivate all this and I don't want to import any textures. We will do it ourselves. Okay, and so here now you have your mesh, the door. Now you want to apply some materials to it. So remember the textures we exported earlier. So you can just export texture here like this. You go to File, Export Texture, and you put the output template you want. For me, I use my custom one, and I click Export like this. Open output directory, and I will drag and drop these textures inside the Unreal Engine. So for this, I have also my texture folder here, and I will just drag and drop the folder, the door. Okay, so now that's done, how to create a simple material inside Unreal Engine. We can see that our textures are here, and I will create the material to show you. So, example, master material. Okay, this is just a simple material, and I will add some parameters so you can tweak. This way you can easily tweak the parameters in the material instance. Let's drag and drop our textures. So let's say this is the textures for your door, and I will just take them and create the material. So at first it's pretty straightforward. For example, you can just plug this in the normal, this in the ambient occlusion, but even it's not activated for now, so I will not plug it now because it's not activated. The roughness and the metallic. And this is the diffuse texture you can apply. Okay, so the material is here, and I will just apply it by clicking this small icon because it's already selected inside the content browser. So if something is selected and you click on this small icon, it will just apply it to the material. And you can see that in just a few clicks you already have your wooden door. But for example, you want more roughness, less roughness on the metal, or you can add some detail for the roughness, for the ambient occlusion. So I will show you how to do this. So let's say I want to add I want to be able to edit the roughness. What I will do is take the roughness and multiply it by a roughness parameter. So I right click and click on promote to parameter, and I put this inside the roughness. Okay, this way I will put the default values of 1. So this is like the same as the texture because it's multiplied by 1. Then apply, and I will show you. Wait, I will just put the door inside the environment, somewhere like this, here. Okay, so now we have our door, and we have our environment like this, and material. So if I click on the roughness parameter, you will see that I can edit the roughness like this by sliding the parameter. Okay. And now you can proceed like this to add multiple parameters. For example, if you want to be able to change the color of the default texture, you can add a hue shift. And this way, you will be able to tweak the color of the texture by a simple slider. You take you can see this hue shift percentage, right click, promote to parameter, and we can call it just hue. I apply the material, and you will see that now, if I change the value, I can change the color of the door. So let's say you have something at 0 and you want something a bit more reddish like this, you can do it. Okay, now let's detail a bit more the material. For example, I would like to put some control on the ambient occlusion that I have packed inside my texture here. We can see it here. This is the ambient occlusion. This is the roughness and the metallic. And I want to take the R channel to create, to be able to tweak the ambient occlusion. So this, I will just do like this. I will put a power to have some more control on the ambient occlusion, and put this in the alpha. And this is the diffuse. I will put it here, and like this. No, I will put it in the A and put 0 here because the ambient occlusion, I want it to be black, completely black. And I apply the material. Okay. And now, wait, this is I will put just a parameter to the power. I will call it AO, like ambient occlusion. So you can see that I did the wrong one, like it's reverse. So I will just put this one here. I will just reverse the lerp. Okay. And this way we can have like more control on the ambient occlusion, as you can see, like this. Okay. And finally, I want to have like more control on the, just a basic control on the base color. So I will multiply all this, what I built, with the base color parameter, a 3-vector parameter. I multiply this by this. I will put 1 by default to always have this, the good color. And this way, you can just play. If it's too bright, for example, you want to turn it down, you can hit like this with the values like this. Okay, so now we have our door and some parameters set up. This was just an example to show you how you can set up some parameters to change the color, to put some ambient occlusion, to put some mask. It was the same with RGB mask. Just a simple example. Once you have this, I will just save. This is where it's really great. This is my master material, and I can create a material instance. So I will call it material instance wooden door. And I can apply it directly here. And look, I will just duplicate it to show you. Okay, this will be the wooden door 01. And I will duplicate it and create the O2. So for example, now I have this interface, and this is the material instance. So I can just tweak all the material in the same time without opening the main material. And let's say I want like one door that will be more bright, like this, like the default one. And for the second one, I will apply the material to the one in the middle, for example. And I want to have this more ambient occlusion, more darker vibe. Or I can create a third one and apply it here. And let's say I want a door that is more reddish, like, oh, sorry. I wanted this one. Okay, I opened this one. You can again tweak the parameters to have more, if you want to tweak the colors like this. The UE is really fine because I can keep the material for the metal like this. It just change the color of the, slide the color. As it is white, it's not impacting the metal. Okay. So yeah, this is basically how I build my materials inside Unreal Engine. Okay, let's continue with something else. About the vegetation. So the vegetation is a big part of this environment, as you can see, with the trees and all the plants. Look, the plants were made mostly inside Substance Designer. So the plants were creating also following the same process in Substance Designer. And like, sometimes I will merge some pictures in Photoshop and merge it with some Substance Designer creation. It depends. What's cool with the plants is like you can just let's say, so for the vegetation I use some procedural tools which called procedural foliage volume. This way I can easily apply the plants to the world. Let's say I want this one. No, I will take the first one. Sorry. So to activate the procedural foliage volume, you will see that it's not working now. Look. If I'm trying to put the volume inside the world, it's not working, nothing is appearing. It's because you need to go in the edit, in the editor preference, and type procedural volume. Now that's done, I can put it inside, and it's here. And let's say I want some plant here on the floor, like this here, on top of the rocks, like this. Just hide this. And with this tool, you can just simulate volume like this. It's really easy to create. This one is the procedural volume foliage spawner, and inside I will just put the foliage I want. So there is the static mesh foliage of multiple plants, and I also added some rocks. It looks like this, and here inside the procedural foliage you can just tweak all the parameters you want, such as the cull distance, if you want to link them to normal, the shadows, the collisions, and most importantly, the way they will spread and grow. So here you can change the size, either if they are like how far they are from each other when they spawn, and the number and the density. This needs really, I think, a more in-depth tutorial, so I will just pass it for now. But just so you understand how it's built like this, all these are procedural volumes, so I have an easy control on where to put the foliage and how to grow it. Okay, now let's talk about the pack level actor. So if I take a look at this house, you can see that it's blueprints, but actually it's a blueprint linked to a level. I use this so it's easier for me to edit the blueprint, and if I want to put this house there and edit this house, it will also edit the one there. For example, let's take a look at this one. I will save. I will go in Unlit. So this is a level, and the level is linked to the blueprint. So whenever I put the blueprint inside the world, this level will come inside the world. It's really good for point of interest or things like this. Let's say that there is the window here. I want to add some. I will just do an example. I want to add like a large beam here, like this, and connect it to some ropes. I have some ropes here, and I want to connect the roof to some ropes. Ropes I built on Blender and Substance Painter, like the doors. Okay, I will just do a short example like this, nothing crazy. Okay, let's say you want to add a change like this. I will add another one. Okay, you had a ball like this with 3 ropes, and I will go back to the level inside the showcase level. Okay, and in this level, this house is linked to the previous level, and so I want to make the change. As you can see, I can just update the back blueprints. I will save. And now I have my rope connected to the wall, like to the house like this. And it will do the same for all the same blueprint. It's a really good way, like I love to build this environment this way, because as I start with basic shapes and then I build on top of this and build, I like to have all this connected to some same blueprints, core blueprints, prefabs, and then I can just create and update them at the meantime inside the level. It's really good, but you can do some variations. It's not all the same assets and prefab. You can easily do some variation, and for example, let's say you want to add one here. I will just show you. I will just add a tree like this. I can change the size, and I will just go and duplicate it. I will take it inside my content folder, and here is the blueprint. And this way you can just create easily a new house like this. I will put it inside the tree more, and let's say I want to connect it to this one. I should just remove this for now. I can take the blueprint for the bridge, and I will connect this one to the house. Okay, just an example, you know. I will put it like this so the bridge will not be so straight. Okay. Okay, and this way, in just a few clicks, you can add a new house connected to the trees and based on the blueprint. The roof is made also like with the plants, because inside the blueprint, I just use the foliage editor to paint on top of this. Okay, foliage editor. You can see that I use this to actually paint on the roof. And then so this way with the foliage, the blueprint prefab, the modules, the trees, and all the assets I created, I could just create this level and build it to the way I show you. What's good, what's really fun with this and really helpful, it's like it's pretty customizable. For example, let's say you want to change the color of all the vegetation. You can just go here in the plants, and I have these plants like this here, and if I want to change the color and put them like more with a more autumn feeling, I can just open the different materials and edit them. Oops, sorry. Like this one, you see I can like just more autumn feeling. I will also edit the one on the ground, and like this you can just play with all the colors. If you don't like so much the ground with this color, you want to edit it with a more bright one, you can just go again in the landscape material. You can change the tint, not this one. You can change the tint, like make it a bit more saturated, a bit more moody. This way you can completely change the color of everything in just a few seconds. And now you have a more autumn feeling, reddish, and it's really powerful. You can really make it your own really fast. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed these tutorials, and I know it was a lot of information, it was a bit fast, but I try to not do something too long, and I will go deeper in each topic every time in my next tutorials. Thank you.